Hello, KFC SuperCoaches. It's the Game Day podcast, round 2. Huge week coming up, and Rob Sutherland is here to discuss it all. What's the biggest issue facing your team this week?
Is there anything under that jacket?
There never is.
That's the biggest question. That's the biggest issue I have, because I have no issues. Team looks good, making no trades. Very happy, Thomas.
Yeah, no trades for me, and that is my issue. Do I pull a trade that I don't really want to do just so that I've got one in the bank and then I can use my 3 next week? I'm considering going Pele to Moale, which is it's really just fiddling around with cheapies. It's not a high-end trade by any means. But next week, I think I'll have to go big with at least 3 trades next week. So do I get one in the bag this round?
Moale's bottom price, though, right? Or almost bottom price.
Basically, yeah. It actually cost me money to go Pele to Moale.
So, getting that trade out of the way, even if you waited 2 weeks on it and he scores 40, it's not going to cost you that much. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of going no trades. We're going send through your questions, guys. There's already a heap coming through, so we're going to pimp your teams. So Matt Phillips is asking a very similar question to mine: Pele to Moale or Garner to Tohu? Garner to Tohu is a pretty big upgrade.
Yeah, Pele to Moale, you're moving one cheapie to get another cheapie.
Yeah.
Garner to Tohu, you're moving a mid-ranger with lots of questions to a genuine gun who you lock into the round 12 bye.
Round 12, yeah, he's got a great schedule. You think he plays almost 80 minutes most weeks. You probably can't keep it up every single round, but I still think Tohu is looking the goods this season. Should average somewhere near a point a minute, playing close to 80 minutes. So you're looking at a 70 average for him this year.
Yeah, I'm booking Tohu in 65 minutes once the Warriors get their sort of their rotation back on track, or the back on track the way I see it, which is back on track. Yeah. I still think he's a 65, 70 guy. Dual position, 640. Yeah, good.
Tohu is, a lot of people in the comments are saying just go the Tohu trade. It's pretty obvious for me. What do we got?
Anything about the mango? Because I wore this shirt just for the mango. A head like a half-sucked mango, which is probably fair, so I thought I'd wear a shirt that would match it.
There's a lot of chat coming in that we were running late, but we're actually perfectly on time for 11:30.
For 11:30, we're on time.
The stream starts at 11. The stream starts on Facebook at 11:20, just so people can get in and around, and then we start at 11:30. Jermaine Esako, is he a trap? I think he is this week, but if he does back it up this round, then he's a guy to bring in next week.
Yeah, I think of the two, of Asako and Hamiso Tabuai Fidu, that Asako is the better get. He's like 40k more, and I'd be prepared to pay it for the goal kicking certainty. He played really well, but again, it's one I'd wait a week on.
Yeah, he is the most purchased player this week, but again, I think you need to have a look, as you do with a lot of guys, like Josh King, for example, I'm keen on, but definitely want to have a look. Tohu is one of those guys that you don't need to have a look because he's just done it so many times in the past.
Yeah, you don't have to have a look, but you do have to moderate your expectations a wee bit.
What have we got here? Tohu tick. Is Ezra Mam good for a pod? He was great on the weekend, but look, it's tough. I always like my halves kicking goals, and that's not going to happen at the Brisbane Broncos.
Either kicking goals or being Cameron Munster.
Yeah.
And if they're not those two, then or being a cheapie. And Ezra Ram's not a cheapie that he was last year. Katoa's the cheapie half. No, it's a pass for me.
Big game tonight, Panthers v the Rabbitohs. Let's do the burning issues. First up, Nathan Cleary, extremely popular. VC option tonight, got 53 on the weekend and didn't even do anything. So that just shows how good his base is for SuperCoach and how reliable he is. And look, a couple of little attacking stats, and he's up at 70, 80 tonight up against the Rabbitohs.
Has a high score against the Rabbitohs of a lazy 190. That's
nice.
Exactly what you want for your VC, is a bloke who can go big. Panthers have lost their last 2 at home. Can't think the last time that happened. I think there's a lot of reasons that Cleary goes big. He's my VC.
Straight C, because I don't have a non-player, so I can't really use the loophole unless I make a trade. Maybe get Schuster in, but then I'd have to get rid of Tedesco.
Well, but see, Teddy's my captain, right? So if Cleary goes big, Teddy's no longer my captain, I bring him down, make him a
Yeah, but
reserve.
you still get your auto emergency as, whoever.
Well, you're going to get an auto
Khan
emergency.
Pereira or whoever it is.
Sure, or Pele in my case. So there's a lot of negatives with pulling it. But if Cleary goes 190...
If it is 190, it's going to have to be probably above 150 for it to work.
In that area, yeah.
For me, he's my VC. I don't think I'll be able to pull the loophole, but I'm VCing him anyway. Would you go the straight C, given that a lot of people don't have the ability to do the VC loophole this week?
No.
No, not for me either. Sonny Luke, very popular this week. Only 25 minutes, but 50-odd points. He was sensational when he came on. The Panthers looked a completely different team when he came on as well. I can't go there with the minutes the way they are, but I can see why people are buying him.
I've counselled against it both in the office and in the blog. I think it's like a broken record here. Wait a week. It's costing you nothing to wait a week and see. It might cost you a few points, but it doesn't cost you any money. I can understand the enthusiasm. I thought he looked really good to the eye. I assume he might play more minutes this week, but wait a week.
Brian Tohu is a popular sell. Now, a lot of people got on because he is this base stat guy that you can get at centre wing. He's reliable in a position that is very unreliable. 40-odd points all in base in a tough game. It was wet. Not much went his way. I wouldn't be selling Brian Tohu. He's got the bye next week, I know, but still, you got him for a reason.
It's his way that is the bit that stands out to me from that sentence, Tommy, and it's that his way is the right way, which is the wrong way at the Panthers. Oh, I just did that then. Yeah. That was good, wasn't it?
So you reckon Taruva's on the... Are you playing Taruva tonight?
Because I have some... I thought
he's next
there's
on
no
our list
acknowledgement
anyway.
whatsoever if his way is the right way. Fine. I'll just keep going. On the right is Stephen
Sometimes
Crichton.
stuff goes straight over my head. I'm sorry.
Probably does. Stephen Crichton. How many assists do you think Stephen Crichton had last year?
Oh, 3.
Lower.
2.
Lower.
1.
Correct.
Right.
He had 1 try assist. Stephen Crichton is a really good player, but he does not pass very often to the guy on his outside. I liked Tohu when we knew that May was out for the season and Tohu might move to the left. Looks like that's not happening now. So I don't like Tohu as much.
I mean, the left is not even that good anymore because Viliami Kikau's left. Looks like they're struggling a little bit with that combination with Garner and Luai, etc. So, look, I don't even know if either side of the field for the Panthers is particularly good.
Look, it's not the Rabbitohs left, but it's still better. And therefore, I can actually see people getting around selling Tohu. It seems heresy, but yeah.
I spoke about Garner just before, but what do you reckon about selling him? I could do it. I mean, you think that the coach was just revving up the team by blasting him in the press conference.
Yeah.
But he only played 51 minutes. The coach really gave it to him in the presser. It looks like, and they've got, is it Hosking who's sitting around who could come into that team? I could easily sell him if I owned him.
If I had him, would be really tempted to sell him. To having had that uncertainty to someone like Josh King, who had that huge base game, that there are issues there. He played minutes more than we expect, but I'll say it, give him one more week. Give him this week. Let's see how he goes.
Moving on to the Rabbitohs, Latrell has been cleared to play, so he's definitely in VC option for sure.
100%.
And even a C option if you feel that way inclined. Can Campbell Graham back it up? 110 on the weekend with 2 tries, but up against the Panthers who've got a good defence this week.
History says he won't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lachlan Ilias, do you see any merit to him being the 7th most popular purchase this week? I know he was great, but it was probably his best game ever in the NRL.
Yeah.
And law of averages says he won't be able to back that up.
Yeah, there's a bit of points chasing in this one. Yeah. He's 380k, I think, give or take. It's a decent price. He was a really good cheapie last year. I still think he's behind Tanner Boyd, only because Boyd kicks goals and gives him that a little bit more reliability. But, if something happens to Foran and Sexton comes in, does Sexton start kicking goals over Tanner Boyd? Does that change the whole landscape? Well, I'm hoping it doesn't happen. If it does, then maybe I'd look at Ilias. But that draw is really, really tough. I can't see him scoring 80 again for 6 more weeks.
I want your thoughts on Shaq Mitchell versus Davey Moale, because Shaq actually played more minutes than Moale, and that could have been just because of the flow of the game and when the injuries happened. But more minutes, more points for Shaq, and he's owned by basically no one. And then you've got Moale, who is obviously very popular. What are your thoughts on taking a flyer on Shaq?
I like both. I might have one in my team next week, but take this week. It's a free week. Take the week. See how their minutes play out. See how they go. See how the teams are named next week.
Plus, they've got Jacob Host and Hame Sele back next week.
Yeah.
Plus, like Liam Knight and someone else, Havili's due back listed as indefinite.
A bit further away.
So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that team when it gets named next week. And then Isaac Thompson, who had a crazy game on the weekend. He did some amazing stuff, and he's a tackle buster, his high work rate, which suits SuperCoach. Then he made some ridiculous errors as well, and he dropped the ball over the line. But he has been named in that team. We thought he might lose it with Tane Milne coming back into that side, but he's been named ahead of him. So job security is good. He could be a guy for next week too.
Could be. I mean, this is really wishful thinking here, but do we have a new Fergie Ferg? I mean, with a straighter nose, you know, like
he's not happy, Fergie Ferg, today.
He's not the Fergstar, and my heart goes out to him because he's genuinely one of the most exciting players to watch in rugby
short
league.
of a quid, old Fergie Ferg.
I'm not making any comment in that regard. So look, Thompson will do that. He'll do great stuff. He'll do the sublime and the ridiculous. Luckily, in SuperCoach, the sublime, you know, scores really well, and the ridiculous loses you 1 point for an error. So, you know, every time he drops ball, doesn't hurt you as long as he's not dropping the ball over the line. Yeah, I could get around Thompson, but not just yet.
Send through your comments, and of course, if you send through a good sledge, you'll get the zinger pop up on the screen as well. What a great prize that is. Zinger of the week. Yeah. Mitchell's saying, Sangster's not getting the minutes we were expecting, and Rob looks good on the eyes. Just don't know if the points are there.
Yeah, to be fair, the guys have put a little bit of a filter over the camera, so I'm glad it's working for you.
John says, this is unwatchable. Really disappointing. I'm leaving.
Thanks, Mum.
Apparently, it looks like there's some stream issues going on. So we'll hopefully fix those quickly. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Well, a lot of people saying that the stream's not working, so hopefully we can fix that quickly. Captaincy on Grant from Daniel Vickery.
I don't think so. I really want that high upside that Teddy provides me as fullback against the Warriors. I think that's where I'm going to chase.
Yeah, Teddy for me. I'm doubling down on him. Plenty of late injury news coming in. Let's do late mail. So, Latrell Mitchell cleared for tonight with that PCL injury. Sent a bit of a scare through owners and the Rabbitohs over the weekend, but despite sitting out training, he will play.
Well, he didn't quite sit out all of training. He sat out the bit where he had to run, and then he went and kicked goals, which tells you his PCL is probably all right.
Yeah, exactly. I actually thought he played really well with that PCL injury after he got the injury. So I don't think there's any issues there. Definite VC, or even chuck the C on him if you're feeling a bit fancy tonight. Victor Radley is in pretty serious doubt with that concussion.
Yeah, and that doesn't help my man Brandon Smith, because I assume if Radley goes out, then Brandon goes to 13 and Terps plays the whole game at hooker. It's not for sure. You never know. Might get Egan Butcher in at 13. That'd be all right. But I wouldn't be stunned if Radley doesn't play.
And then Kieran Foran, it looks like he's going to play. Originally ruled out for 2 to 4 weeks, but he's trained this week and they don't play until Sunday. So it looks like he's a massive chance to play. This is great news for David Fifita, who's in my team. And Foran inside Fifita looks like a pretty damn good combination.
Yeah, well...
And they combined for a try assist over the weekend.
Bo Firma's bad luck is Fifita's good luck in that he's back on the left, which is a better side there. And Foran, the Iron Man. Yeah, good to see him get up and play. Yeah.
The person it's not good for, though, is Tanner Boyd, who I also own, and I thought that he would be the guy passing it to Fifita to put him through holes and put him through for tries and line breaks. But he's over on the right, and who's running outside him? It's not David Fifita, I know that.
Isn't it McIntyre or something like that?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah. So...
not quite the same.
Not quite the same, yeah. You've got good news for Fifita, bad news for Tanner Boyd, and I own both.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for late mail.
We're zipping through this.
We really are. Let's take some questions. Hopefully the stream's working. Harrison saying absolutely unwatchable.
Harrison's our biggest fan.
Yeah, I know. Unwatchable, major lag and frozen. Yeah, switch over to the YouTube channel if you can, guys, because it's also live on YouTube. Let's go to the guilty pleasure. You know a lot about guilty pleasures, Rob. Who's your player that you shouldn't get in, but your heart is telling you that you should?
It's Four Pines beer, Thomas.
Oh,
I can't go past with Four Pines when I'm watching the football. Love them. Really just an excellent brewer, an excellent beer, and a good corporate citizen as well. I think that ticks off all the bits that the lawyers said I had to say after
Have we scored it?
bagging them last.
Have we scored a case yet?
Not as yet, but I'm not doing this for the case. I'm doing this because I was told to. No, look, guilty pleasure. I suppose I'll come back to Brandon Smith in that, I'm a Roosters fan, so, I love having Roosters in my team. I've been watching Brandon Smith peeking up from over the Tibby Cotter Bridge, as he rips the boys apart playing touch. He consistently scores tries. He also really consistently cheats. Quite often he's tapped, and it's Lodgy left standing there with his arm up going, "Tapped ya!" And Cheese is like, "No, never got me. And he runs off and scores a try. I'm just hoping he does that this week.
Let's hope so. Absolutely. For me, it's Shaq Mitchell. I kind of like what I saw on the weekend from him. He's got good footwork. He's got the offload, playing decent minutes. I don't know if that will continue when all the guys are back into that team, but he could be a real left field cheapie at really low ownership.
Can't afford Latrell, might as well have the other Mitchell.
Get two Mitchells in there.
Fair.
Moving on now to cheapie of the week. Jermaine Asako. So I've got him on the cheapie list. I know he's not quite a cheapie. I think he's a trap, to be honest. I don't think the Dolphins will back it up. That could be the best game they play all year last week.
Yeah.
Can they keep doing that every round? I don't think so.
I don't think they score 28 points every week. Therefore, their goal kicker's not going to score as much and get as many shots. 380k, slightly awkward price. Look, he's one. If he has all these runs and kicks plenty of goals next week, maybe I could talk my way into it. I'll talk myself into it, but just not for now. And the same goes for the next guy on the list, which is the Hammer, for all the same reasons. Yeah.
Look, his base was actually quite good for him last week, and base has always been a problem. History tells us, though, that he doesn't have that work rate that we need for SuperCoach.
Yeah.
CNK, very popular. I mean, realistically, you should have got on from round one. But what I like from him, I know he's at the Warriors, and they're probably not going to go that well this year and score a heap of tries. But CNK made 19 runs. I think that's what we can expect from him, somewhere around the 20 mark in runs. Then you add tackle busts and offloads to that. You're looking at a base of around 40-ish, which is pretty solid. Very solid for a centre winger. Yeah,
I think he's the best person on this list. Also, doesn't have a bye until round 12, which is awesome. Yep. You can just keep... And with that base, you can lock him into your centre wing while you rotate, others around him and your premium guy. I assume you've got a premium and all the rest cheapies. Bit of a pen explosion over there. I'll just keep rolling.
Well, no one's watching anyway because the stream's breaking.
Well, I'm going to keep going anyway, as if they are. Just pretend people care. I think CNK.
Thoughts on Jackson Ford? I think he should be a lot higher than 9th on the most purchased list. The issue is Bailey Sirenen hanging around there on the extended bench. Plus they got Jazz, but Jazz plays lock, doesn't he?
Jazz plays middle, but if he comes into the middle, then Barnett, Tohu can move over to an edge, and then you've got the whole issue of Curran. Curran's going to play more minutes than he did. I think he'll build up to 40 minutes. Someone's got to pay, and I think Ford might lose some. I got him from round one, and I'm happy to ride him while he does.
Yeah, owners would be happy. I still wouldn't. I could still get around getting on this week if you don't own him already. Isaiah Katoa, pretty popular. Well over 50% ownership, and one of the most purchased players again this week. So I think you do have to get on.
Played out of his skin. I just want him to get a few price rises, and now I can cash him in for Schuster when Schuster comes in.
Yep, and Bryce Cartwright, the Cardi Party, my boy.
Reinvented himself, Thomas.
Yeah.
Can I steal your line? Yeah, he's playing like a real forward.
He's playing like a real forward. He is. 20 runs, or 19 runs, I think it was. Less fancy stuff, more hard work, which I like from him. But, of course, they've got Maddo and Sean Lane coming back into that team. So I would have another look this week for sure.
I think he played himself to a spot above Dury, and if he plays really well, and then he's the one who goes out when Lane comes in, not Madison. So it's the race, isn't it?
But and then that's could have an effect on Hopgood as well. So does Matto go to lock, or does Matto go to an edge?
If Hopgood keeps playing like Hopgood's played, then surely Matto starts on an edge and does that thing where he runs on an edge and defends into the middle, which, like that's the second row goal. That's Tohu territory.
Yeah.
And Madison
that's
does
where
that
he makes
too.
a million tackles, but also has the attacking stats of an edge back rower. Braden Williame, he's definitely on my radar. I liked what I saw. Still with the try assist with the with a line break.
It was a line break assist, I think. A line break and a try assist, yeah.
Still only gets 49 points. The base is a little bit of an issue, but to the eye test, he looked pretty good.
Made plenty of runs. It's the dual position that had me get him to start with, and will have me keeping him for a while, because just being able to move him around up between centre wing and second row, invaluable.
This stream is disgusting. Looks like there's a few dramas going on here, so let's go to Coach Captains. Big shout out to Copes. He's retired this week, so big news in the Copeland household, and we're going to have him on the show next week. Captain this week, what are you thinking? Cleary's at 22%. It's Tedesco for me, only at 10%.
Yeah, look, it's got to be Teddy. Roosters can't be as bad this week as they were last week. Surely they improve. At home, dry track. The Warriors were good last week. I think, they got a lot of spirit from playing at home. I think I'm hoping the Roosters break that spirit early. The other big in for that is Joey Manu. I think Manu's addition is huge for Teddy. He either breaks the line and Teddy gets, through for the try, or the vice versa. Joey Manu just roving around. With the two of them, it's like having two fullbacks, with Joey having like a roving commission. So, I think it's got to be Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy for me as well. And just a note that these percentages I've got here with Cleary on 22 and Teddy on 10%, they are for all SuperCoaches. But in SuperCoach Plus, you can sort by top 1%, top 5%, and top 10%. So in terms of the top 10%, Tedesco is by far the most popular captain this week, given that Cleary is playing the first game of the round. So you wouldn't be able to use the VC loophole if you go straight C on Cleary tonight.
Yeah, but as we've discussed, there are loophole issues. So just pick your best captain. In my case, It's still Teddy, even with Cleary's previous ceiling, games against Souths and all that sort of jazz.
The other guy that stands out for me is Harry Grant. 7%. I don't mind it up against the Bulldogs. The issue I have is, do they get well ahead in this game and then Grant comes off the field?
Also, does Wishart go into hooker when he's not being required to fill three other spots in the back line because of injuries? So you're going to get a better look at the Storm injuries and their rotations this week than we did last week.
The other question is whether Wishart actually plays 5'8", because they've got Jonah Pezzett on the bench as well, who's extremely highly rated. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come into the side. Vice captains, for me, it's Cleary. I don't think he can go anyone else, to be honest, playing in that first game.
Yeah, agree.
All right, a few questions to the end of the show. VC on Hopgood. I've mentioned this a couple of times this week, but is he the new Corey Parker? Straight C, just lock it in. Don't even think about your captain.
I think I could see, based on if he, if that base continues, but I couldn't VC because I think 100 was the best he's ever going to go. And your VC has to be the upside guy, I think. Especially while we've all got blokes like Pele or, Khan Pereira sitting there, potentially being a 5 to 10 point automatic emergency. So, I wouldn't risk it just yet.
Harrison's on fire. Typical Sangster, running late, scoffing his face with KFC and trying to squeeze into a tracksuit that's 2 sizes too small.
Two of those things are true.
Elaborate.
No, there were 3 things. I'm saying 2 of them are true. Leaving it to Harrison to make his mind up.
As much chance has been on time as the Dragons are of winning the premiership this year. There's a lot of Dragons bashing going on.
There was some Dragons bashing went up to yesterday.
It
was the Red v. Rock.
That was quite good, actually. I'm a Dragons fan and I quite enjoyed reading that.
I enjoyed building it. Headlines all mine. Don't blame Crawls.
Dread V. Did you end up going with Dread V?
No, Red V, right. You said Dread V was too highbrow, so I pulled it back.
I didn't. I quite liked Dread V. That was Lambo you're talking about. Okay. Anyway, this is not even remotely interesting to anyone watching.
There's only 6 people, but at least the audio will go out later.
But thanks for watching. Big thanks to Rob, and good luck with your teams this week.
Cheers.